Hello and welcome back to Kaiti Draws. Today we are going to be exploring the enchanting world of Native American mythology and talk about the legend of the white buffalo calf woman. Make sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and let's get started. The white buffalo woman is a legendary figure from the Plains Indian tribes, particularly the Lakota Sioux, and her story is profound, captivating, filled with wisdom, but most of all, it is spiritually significant. It's a big, big deal. Let's begin our story. I'm going to set a scene for you. Imagine the sweeping prairies of North America. The buffalo roamed freely at the time, and the land was mostly untamed. Imagine the awe of the Lakota Sioux when they encountered a truly rare sight, which would be a white buffalo amongst all of the others. In Native American culture, especially for the Plains natives, the white buffalo is considered a very sacred and rare symbol that symbolizes things like peace, purity, unity, and much more. How the story goes is that two hunters were approaching a wilderness or a mountainside, and they see this really strange cloud. It's enigmatic, they're drawn to it, but also it just has some sort of weird thing going on with it. They approach and realize that beneath some of the cloud, there is this beautiful, stunning woman dressed in all white. Her hair is raven black, her eyes as well. One of the hunters actually tells his friend that he is going to make this woman his wife. He is determined and he has an ill conscience. The other hunter tries to tell the guy, that's probably not a good idea because this is clearly a very weird, supernatural entity. I mean, this cloud is really strange. But the other hunter doesn't listen. He approaches the woman, and they both become shrouded in this cloud. Once the haze clears, the friend realizes that the man that had ill intentions was actually a pile of bones. This, of course, is frightening, and he looks at this woman, who then assures him that he has nothing to worry about. She can tell that this man is of good heart. Not only that, he has to bring his people a message. This man realizes that she's speaking in Lakota, so he feels like she's safe. And not only that, she tells him that she is a supernatural being, maybe a goddess or a spirit guide of some form, but she represents a messenger who's going to bring forth a connection to the quote great mystery or Wankantanka, who's the great creator. The man does as he is told and brings this message to the council, to his people. They prepare for her arrival. When she arrives, she teaches the Lakota 7 sacred ceremonies, which is to protect the Mother Earth. And in addition to that, she provides them with the Chinupa, which is a sacred ceremonial pipe. The pipe was to be smoked prior to and during the observance of these 7 rites that she's provided. So of those rites, we have the Purification Lodge, or a Sweat Lodge is one of them. The Keeping of the Souls. There's a Crying for Vision, which is not necessarily the same as a vision quest. Next we have the Sun Dance, which was actually banned in America until 1934. There's also the Making of Relatives, a female puberty ceremony, and the Throwing of the Ball ceremony. The Lakota Sioux people, following the guidance of the white buffalo woman, incorporated the sacred pipe into their ceremonies. This was to provide wisdom, peace, and unity. There is some misinformation out there about the ceremonial pipe. Each culture uses the ceremonial pipe in different ways. Some of them might be similar to each other. So the way that the Lakota Sioux, as far as my understanding goes, is that the ceremonial pipe has a lot of different layers to it. In a very simple way of explaining this, the ceremonial pipe might represent a way to have a quote prayer. It's not prayer, but it's kind of similar. The smoke from the pipe is a way to be able to communicate your wishes, your desires, your persuasions to the great creator. It's a connection to some of the otherworldly spirits, which, by the way, the ceremonial pipe itself is symbolic, but the herbs that are used in the ceremonial pipe are also very symbolic and very important. Some herbs will attract good spirits, and then other herbs in this blend might push away bad spirits. Depending on the ceremony or the purpose, the herb blend might change. The pipe is also very important when you are doing these ceremonial rites. Imagine if you are in a sweat lodge with your fellow compatriots, you are sharing your thoughts and quote prayers amongst each other and smoking the pipe, and also trying to connect to the spirit world. It's a way to not only communicate and connect with otherworldly spirits and greater deities, but also with your community and with each other. So the association of the ceremonial pipe is not solely confined to like spiritual connections or even mythic tales, but it actually extends into secular relations. So in the case of two quarreling people, somebody wrote that a leader could actually physically thrust a pipe between the combatants and enjoin them to settle their dispute. I think it's a good reminder that we need to sit and communicate some of our thoughts with other people and people of differences in order to kind of come to some form of understanding and respect for each other. We don't necessarily have to believe, but finding that respect for a fellow human being, a fellow living being. There are so many symbolic things associated with the sacred pipe and the ceremonial rites that I'm barely even touching the surface. And to be clear, these are just for the Lakota Sioux. There are also the Dakota Sioux in a different region that might believe other things or variations, and then a ton of other people out there with their own beliefs. So it came time for the white buffalo woman to leave the Lakota Sioux. She told them a prophecy. She promised to return in times of great need, bringing peace and harmony to the world. So the legend of the white buffalo woman became an integral part of Native American culture, and it reminds us of the importance of things like unity, respect for the earth, and of course the enduring connection between humanity, the natural world, and the spiritual world. We are all interconnected. So that is it. That is the tale of the white buffalo woman. And this is a story that continues to guide people, inspire us, and it urges us to protect the environment and strive for peace and harmony in our lives, mutual respect, and most of all, communication. So if you enjoyed this journey into Native American mythology, do not forget to hit that like button and share this video with your loved ones. Subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories and educational content, especially if you love art and mythology. So until next time, my friends, remember the wisdom of the white buffalo woman and the unity it symbolizes. I think this is really, really, really important right now. Communication, understanding, respect for your fellow man, fellow being, and that can extend to everything. Your fellow earth. We share so many things with each other. Stay curious, stay inspired, and keep exploring the legends of our world. Until next time.